I hit the wrong button. Turns out, something I like that, hold on. I'm gonna switch playlists. Hold on, I gotta switch. Hold on. I gotta switch the music. Hello, happy Thursday? Is it Thursday? It's Thursday. There we go. That's better. Hello. How are you? How are you doing today? Hope you're all doing fabulously. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. My throat is still a little bit sore. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit ugh, gross. Nasty. But it's not as bad. It's not as bad as it was. It's definitely not as bad as it was. It's Thursday. It's nearly the end of the week. Isn't that impressive? We're gonna play more of the game I want to play. My brain, I'm so tired. I don't know why I'm so tired today. Emerald Waves on a Crimson Sea is what we're playing, I think. Yes. Listen, I promise you, I am excited to play this game because it's very fun. Nope, Crimson Waves on an Emerald Sea. I always mix them up. That's the problem. But I'm so excited we get to continue our mystery. Oh gosh. I feel like nothing's happened and everything's happened. I have got some important stuff to do at work, which I'm excited for. Yeah, I think that's it. I should probably just hop to it, right? Yeah, let's just hop into the game. It's crazy. Crazy. Okay, hold on. Where is the game? See, I am such a professional. I didn't open the game. Ha 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 ha. Wonderful. Okay, we'll turn that down. We're gonna turn on the game audio. Hello? There we go. Little shrink. I love when my buttons work the way they're supposed to. You know, at first I wasn't sure about the new audio mixer style for OBS, but I like it a lot better than what they had before. Is it this one? Can I help you? I think this is our last... Yes, this was our last file. For those who are not aware, to make sure we are all caught up, we are a vampire, or we used to be a vampire. We are eating emeralds to stop being vampires, and we have a business idea to make emerald, like medicine made of emeralds, so that way we can help other people stop being vampires. And we're trying to get our business off the ground, but a bunch of jewelers have suddenly died from mysterious circumstances. We have our bestie in green. There's a set of twins. One is named Elm, and he's a mysterious boy in our class who we like. The other one... forget what his name is, no! The other one is his twin, and we're very suspicious of him because he's suddenly taken over his father's business and has all this money and doesn't really seem to care that his father died. But it sounds like neither him or his brother had a good relationship with his dad. So it's suspect, but it's kind of not that suspect. Hi, Bio! How are you? Happy Thursday! How are you? I was just recapping. We saw a guy playing a fiddle in the square and we were entranced by his music, but I don't know if there's any, I don't know if there's anything Just winding down for the night, getting ready to chillax and chill and stuff like that. We don't know if the fiddler guy has any relevance. We live with our brother and our brother's husband. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and also our first friend, like our main friend, he's also potentially a victim in the making, because he's also his family is involved in mining. So yeah. Oh, I should probably change. Hold on, I gotta change the category. Crimson Waves. There we go. Ta-da! Okay. Night falls quickly, and then seems to stretch on for ages. Through Ambrosia's dinner of vin? Is that how you say it? Hey, Vio. Do you speak French? Is Zoe there? Coq au vin. Ah, coq au vin. What is that? I am in the way. You guys can't even see. Is it like... So they were talking about lamb, I think, last time. So is it a type of lamb dish? Chicken braised in wine. Oh. I was like, ooh, that sounds very fancy. I'm assuming... Oh. Yeah, it kind of... Now that you say that... Chicken and wine. Yeah. Okay. And beyond my hurried scrawling on ledger paper in the low lamplight. Yeah. See, now that makes sense, doesn't it? Now that you say that, it's like, oh, yeah. Why did you say it in French? I fall into bed just before midnight with very little to show for the hours I spent poring over my correspondence with Douglas. My mind keeps wandering as I read his letters again, as much to Elm and his grief as the strange suddenness of Douglas's death. I had no idea for the longest time, to be honest. That's very fair. And if that weren't enough to contend with, the odd wares from the vendor this afternoon still bother me a good deal. Oh, yeah. So we went on a walk with Elm, and we found a guy who he was selling synthesized jewels, but they seemed really well, like, it was very obvious he was a scammer, and like the gold and stuff wasn't real, and he was telling people it's synthesized jewels, and they were legit gems, and they looked really good. But it was one of those things where it's like, sir, how do I say this? You're too poor to be selling this kind of stuff, this quality of stuff in the street. First of all, you're selling it in the street, which is a red flag to begin with, but also you're too poor to have this merchandise. And then he got mad at us, and he tried to fight Elm. He went to stab Elm, did not stab Elm, and everything ended up being okay. Weirdly enough. And if that weren't enough to contend with, the odd wares of the vendor... Oh, I already read that. Focus. I need to clear my thoughts, or I won't be prepared for negotiations with Rowan tomorrow. Rowan! That's what the twins' name is. I knew it started with an R. I was gonna say, like, Remus or something, but I'm like, no, that's not right. I can only hope that sleep finds me soon. The early dawn light casts Rowan and Elm's manor home in a stark silhouette. Its main gates stand open wide, and its fences are low, as was the style in centuries past, when they were still made of stones quarried from the local cliffsides. A pair of tall cypress trees greets me as I approach the front door planted on each side of the moss-laden path. The hedges surrounding the main houses are trimmed, though not recently, and the ground orderly, but without much ornamentation. The light mist lingering over my feet and the dew clinging to the grass make me feel as I'm sinking further into the earth with each step. It's quieter than the city proper, which isn't much of a surprise given how close the estate is to dense forests that surround Laurenburg. All of this is well and fine, but the house is still dark, and I can't see any sign of movement within. In fact, peering into their dining room now, it looks like they haven't used it in weeks. Well, I suppose Rowan must take breakfast later than most people. No, he's quite an early riser. What? Who's there? Don't sneak up behind people like that, the gall. Oh, forgive me. I gotta get my old man voice out. Oh, forgive me. I didn't mean to startle you. You must be Miss Lucy, I take it. A gentle, almost grandfatherly voice issues from a spindly older man standing on the manor steps. He's wearing an old but well-tailored suit, and his smile is almost invisible behind a bushy mustache. I'm Wilford, a family friend. I suppose that's the best way to put it now. Douglas was my closest friend for years now, as you see. And as you see. His voice trembles slightly, and he covers the slight crack in his composure with a forced smile. Well, come inside by all means. Rowan has told me he's expecting you, and he should get along, or be along shortly. I don't know, I'm old. The boys are a bit short-handed with the suddenness of it all, I'm afraid. Yes, I can imagine. Thank you, Mr. Wilford. Are you staying with them presently? No, as much as I'd like to. I'm assisting them as best I can with the passing of their father. Rowan insists he's got everything under control, but I wish he'd take more time to mourn properly. I can't imagine what those boys must have felt to see their father in such a horrible state. He shakes his head as if trying to shake an image out of his memory. Well, let's talk of happier things for now. At least, I'd be happy to show you the parlor while Rowan finishes his breakfast. Thank you. That would be lovely. He seems like a kindly older gentleman, though I can tell he must be exhausted from the weight of his steps and the dark circles beneath his eyes. I don't doubt that Douglas's death came as a shock to him as well, and he's likely been scrambling to help the twins reconcile all their father's outstanding business, and his funeral plans on top of it. Do Rowan and Elm have no other family? I remember Elm mentioned that his mother died when he was young, though I'm surprised Wilford is the only one here to help in the wake of their father's death. Wilford guides me past a grand oaken staircase and into a small but pleasant parlor. In contrast to the rather plain front lawn, Douglas clearly spent a great deal of time and effort furnishing this room before his death. His portrait, painted in oils and stretched across a grand canvas, hangs above the mantel. Even after his death, he continues to look over this room and all who pass through it. The latest electrical fixtures adorn the wall, and the chairs are all neatly upholstered, similar to those in his office waiting room. In fact, their patterns and designs are identical. I'm not eager to spend long sitting in another of those armchairs, waiting alone as the clock ticks onward. Please make yourself comfortable. I'm happy to accompany you here, or fetch a refreshment if you like. No, thank you, though. I'm sure Rowan will be along shortly. The walls are largely decorated with newly framed and recently painted works, primarily from local artists doing studies of Laurenburg's coastline or the majesty of the sea at dusk. All except for the largest painting, hanging above the unlit fireplace and dominating the room with its presence. An aged, handcrafted frame barely constrains a canvas nearly as tall as myself. Violet swirls of deep indigo and stark white hues form the image of an ancient seaside village buried under a suffocating blanket of snow. Every light in every window is blazing, every tree is bowed low against the wind, and in the center of the town it almost looks as if A small child lies frozen, still just a few paces from warmth. It's unnerving to say the least. Beautifully crafted, but completely at odds with the rest of the room's decor. Ah, I see you've noticed the centerpiece, I see. Yes, it's beautiful, though it seems a bit... dreadful. It is, of course. Do you know that village there is Laurenburg? The Laurenburg of nearly 3 centuries ago. Do you mean that this is a scene from the city's history? Whoops. Wilford chuckles lightly. He seems thankful for the distraction, grim as it is. I could tell you the story of it if you'd like to hear. Well, I'm curious. I'd also like to settle business with Rowan sooner rather than later. But I haven't heard so much as a stir from the rest of the household. Yes, please tell me. I didn't originally grow up here, so I'm not well versed in local history. Yes. This was one of Douglas's favorite stories to tell over fireside chats. I think I remember the meat of it, and if not, at least the bones. Ha ha ha. Our families have lived in the area since the earliest days of Laurenburg, perhaps even before its founding, though records of that time are scarce. Our families have lived in the area... Oh, whoops. In those days, the forest stretched nearly to the seaside, and the houses were often built from the very trees that were cleared to make way for their foundations. The inlets were always rich with shellfish and other bounty, and I'm sure you've heard of the city's origins as a waypoint for merchants traveling the coastline. It's all but forgotten now, but back then there was a petty quarrel among neighbors that gave several families cause to uproot from their homes in the center of town and strike out for the heart of the nearby forest. Oops. I need to stop clicking buttons when I'm not ready to. For several weeks they flitted between the forest's edge and the market square, gathering materials and supplies to last the winter. At first frost, they loudly announced their departure, and then they intended to quit Laurenburg for good. In some stories, it was a single family, mind you, but in others, it was nearly 50 individuals in the party. Water. At any rate, the rest of the village quickly forgot the quarrel that spurred their neighbors to self-imposed exile, and with the chill of winter descending, few people paid the departed group much mind. Now you must understand, if you're not ventured deep into the forest outside of the city, you may not realize just what density of ravines and sheer hillsides can be hidden behind a layer of sparse heather. As with most coastal forests, a deep bog occupies most of the lowest elevations, and so the firm sort of ground with you might build a house or even pitch a tent is difficult to find there. In these days, we have well-cleared paths and scenic areas for picnicking and excursions, but back then, it was a largely untrodden and wholly unsettled territory. So you see, we know how things started out for this group, and we know how most likely they ended, but we know little of what happened during the first 5 weeks of winter before everything came to its dreadful conclusion. As I'm sure you're aware of by now, Laurenburg has mild weather most of the year, but we're prone to fierce blizzards coming from the north and terrible storms washing in from the sea or upriver. That year, a powerful winter storm piled snow deep as your shins across the ground in a single night. And with the winds keeping up through the day, most folks kept indoors until it ran its course. It was at the height of the storm, with the wind raging so bitterly it would sting your eyes like vinegar simply to stand outside, that a child ran out of the forest, trudged through the deep snow, and threw themselves against the nearest door frame. It was dark, but not yet full nightfall, and most of the townsfolk heard the child's cry for help and pleas for shelter. Innkeeper, with a clear doorway, brought the child inside as quickly as they could, but the poor thing was suffering from frostbite in the limbs and odd wounds across their hands and neck. Ooh! Even stranger was the story the child muttered as they sat bundled by the fireside, a desperate and very spoopy, a desperate and broken story that you can hear told in a dozen ways if you search the archives, I'm sure. In every version, however, the child said that their parents, the other adults, and every member of their family was gone, taken by the fairies of the wood, allegedly. Not the yeah, they gone. They've been eaten. No one present got any greater clarity on the matter, as most were fixed on helping the child recuperate. Unfortunately, the combination of malnourishment, frigid cold, and their bleeding wounds proved fatal. Oop, fate. Involvement, yep. Yep. In the spring, a few curious youths forged an expedition into the forest to see what became of the small settlement, but they never found any trace of habitation there. Yep, they got absconded. If there weren't such clear records of the events and of the child's return in the midst of the blizzard, it would be more reasonable to assume there was never any attempt to settle in the forest at all. For some time after, tales of creatures and strange beings stalking the trees pervaded the town's imagination. I mean, we know that vampires exist in this universe. We're a vampire. I don't know if everyone else knows that we were a vampire, but we know we were a vampire. So, Fae is a possibility. These days, there's little trace of those superstitions beyond nursery rhymes, but this painting is an artifact of that era. It's an unsettling piece, yes, but it's deeply ingrained with the history of the town, and perhaps a reminder that even the most brazen vampires had kept shy of the deepest woods throughout the years. Wait, so is like everyone vampires? Was Douglas a vampire? Wilford finishes his story with a divisive clap, and as he does, I hear another clap join in response. So it seems to be common knowledge that vampires are a thing. Oh, hold on. Okay, never mind. That was a marvelous rendition, Uncle Wilford. You aren't trying to charm my future business partner away, now are you? Oh, the nerve of this boy. Was he waiting all this time just to make that entrance? Ho, 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 I wouldn't dream of it! No, just relaying the story of this old portrait. Forgive me. I think I might need to sit for a moment. Nerdy art time? A portrait is specifically a picture of a person. Which I guess it is, there is a person in the painting. But it's not technically a portrait. If the main subject isn't specifically a person. I think, right? Maybe? I don't know. I'm trying to sound smart and I don't know if I do. I might be completely wrong. Whoops. Wait, did I read all that? Okay. Rowan laughs and pats the older man on the shoulder. You ought to lie down. You've been running around without pause for the last couple days. Eat, take rest. Elm and I will be more than all right. I promise you. Yes, I ought to. Feel free to borrow one of the guest rooms upstairs if you like, and take care of yourself, please. Thank you. I think I shall. He did a little bow. He seemed sincere in his concern, at least. He called him Uncle Wilford, too. I wonder if Rowan is close with him. Probably. Well, in any event, I know what I'm here for. Excuse me. Rowan, it's a pleasure to see you again. Likewise, Miss Lucy. Shall we continue our discussion over a morning stroll? Yes, by all means. Please lead the way. And please try to focus on the discussion at hand rather than distracting me with flirtation. Oh. She said, I'm not here for you, boy. This is a charming estate. Has it always been in your family? For generations, I believe. Oh, but a few of our distant relatives left the city long ago, but I'm told we have an illustrious past and heritage. You don't seem particularly interested in that history, from the sounds of it. I'm certain I will be in time, but there are a few more pressing matters on my mind at present. I've gone from assisting my father to taking on everything we once decided amongst ourselves. But nothing is so important as meeting with you, Lucy. Good, I can see he's got his mind on business. I can imagine it's been quite hectic. I trust you've reviewed all my correspondence with your father. I have. You got a lovely penship, you know. Thank you, though I was hoping to discuss the content of my letters rather than their styling. Your family business is quite impressive, both in terms of jewelry your father crafted and the connections your family has forged. Yes, my father had a fine talent for setting gems, and I've got a good eye for quality myself. He's flashing a brazen smirk at me. Does his family have any business sense beyond flattery or flirtation? That's good to hear! As I mentioned in my letter, I'm looking for a reliable partner who can help me procure, assess, and cut gems of extremely high purity. Your father was confident in his suppliers and his own skill. It's a shame he's no longer with us. Yes, it is. Rowan nods in affirmation and quickly hops a low garden wall, continuing to walk along the other side as we make our way across the grounds. I promise you, though, I'm more than capable of leading our family's enterprises. Tell me, Miss Lucy, do you have any interest in teas? Tea? It's enjoyable, yes. Is this another one of your family's ventures? I seem to recall that you all maintain ownership of a few retail establishments. Oh yes, but that's not why I asked. I recently came into possession of a magnificently light rose tea. I was hoping you might like to try a cup. A delicious tea at the center of an afternoon meal is like a beautiful gem in a fine setting, isn't it? That's so paltry. So astute of you, Rowan. I'm smiling through clenched teeth. I need to calm down. I can't believe I'm letting myself get so irritated over Rowan's smug expression. I could start a pot right now, in fact. Delightful tea and good company can do so much for your health as any medicine. Thank you, but I'm quite all right for this moment. Since you've mentioned medicine, however, I take it you're familiar with the proposal your father and I discussed regarding the cure for vampirism, then? Yes! He turns and grips the garden wall with both hands, beaming at me. Truly astonishing. I gasped when I heard the details in your letters. Is it truly so effective? I'm living proof, if you have any doubts. It's just as simple as taking any concoction from a chemist, and it's entirely reliable. It would change the lives of so many if they knew they had a choice to live as a human or a vampire rather than being forced into one way of life. Don't you think? Yes, it's a magnificent development. You'll have to tell me the story of how you came upon it. Gladly, though perhaps another time. It's a long story, and I'd rather not stray too far off track. Well then, I'll look forward to that in our future meetings. I'm excited to carry on my father's work, most particularly with you. Excited? He seems sincere enough, though there's something uncanny about his manner. When we first met, he claimed that he'd been prepared for his father's death for years. But even so, he seemed altogether too eager. If he really is so unaffected, then he probably won't mind if I satisfy my curiosity. My condolences again. I hope things aren't too hard on you in the wake of your father's absence. It's nothing I can't manage, though I do wish he was here to help me through it. I imagine the coppers haven't been any comfort. I was shocked to see so many there in your father's office in town. Ah, yes. Rowan smiles, but he also hesitates. I suspect it's just a precaution on their part. As I mentioned, one of our colleagues, Mr. Fairfield, was attacked and killed recently. Yes, so I've heard. I'm not sure how I follow, though. Apart from being business associates, what would your father's death and Mr. Fairfield's death have in common? Well, this is all the copper speculation, and I don't give it much credit. But some years ago, my father and his closest colleague clashed with a ring of counterfeits here in the city. Oh! The ringleaders of that group were all stuck firmly behind bars, however, so I doubt it was an act of revenge. Counterfeiters? Yes, I think I recall reading about that in the paper. I had no idea Douglas was involved in apprehending them, though. He was instrumental in it, in fact, but that's why I'm confident that the coppers are making a fuss over nothing. My father outwitted the band of criminals at the peak of their influence, so I don't think the dregs of their organization could have possibly gotten the better of him. Just a heads up, there is an ad in 2 minutes. I remember the story vaguely. A few years ago, not too long after I arrived in Laurenburg, the papers were abuzz with news about a criminal conspiracy of jewelry thieves, hucksters selling fraudulent gems, and vandals intimidating local businesses into silence. Eventually, the police announced that they'd apprehend the leaders organizing the group, though they never recovered any stolen wares or ill-gotten gains. If Douglas was involved in uncovering the counterfeiters' crimes, that would certainly make him a target for their ire. I see. I apologize for bringing up such an unpleasant subject. Hi, Zero! How are you? Welcome in, welcome in. No, it's no trouble at all. I don't want to have any uncertainties or misgivings about our future partnership. Please, by all means, ask me anything you like. I'm doing alright. How about you? I have doing pretty good. We're getting to play. So far, let's see. Oh, do you want me to give you a recap, or do you want me to let you? Oh, thank you so much for the follow, Zero. I did play the demo for this game, so I've been very excited to get into it. We played a little bit last week, and then we're continuing on our bites and our teeth. And so far, as is the plot of the game, our business partner has died, and we're not involved, but we're being a little nosy. We're being a little nosy. I do. Sometimes I do take breaks to like play some other games because I do variety streams, but Otome are my main thing. For sure. Ooh, that's a good question. If I had to pick one, ooh, my fave is Even If Tempest. Ooh, I don't think I've played that one. But, okay. I won't sound real silly, because if I had to pick one, and I think it's purely for the memories of trying to get, like, log in and play the game, I probably would have to say my today, because my favorite changes depending on the day. My absolute favorite is probably Mystic Messenger, and I know that is such a vanilla take, but that is the one on my mind today, because just pure nostalgia of, yes, just the pure nostalgia of getting all the messages beaming to my phone. They're being like, they're texting you, like, and I worked my butt off to play that game. My first atome was my first atome I played like 2 years ago. Ah, that's awesome. Congrats. It's a good one. It's a really good one. I'm a Zen girly. 7 is still my fave. 7 is awesome. So they did such a good job with that game. Like it had no right. It's still in my phone. Like I always keep it on my phone even though I don't play it as much like anymore. Just, oh my god, the secret endings are so good. They're so good. Oh, an ad break has started. Hold on. I will hit pause so that way we can wait until the ad is over. But the secret endings are so good. Oh gosh. It's not, The bad endings are good. The good endings are good. Like all the endings, they went hard with that game. They went hard with that game for real. It's good. It's really good. And I'm gonna put that out there. If you want to get into Otome, Mystic Messenger is a really good one. The only thing is the texting feature is that there are some things where it's like you have to like answer their text, which they might have done something. I think you used to be able to like buy responses back or something like that if you missed a message, or you could earn like gems or something to use. They might have changed that, but it's such a fun game. It's such a fun game. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. I should play it again sometime. What? Lady's pouting because her father came home and ignored her. What? Yeah? Yeah? Did he ignore you? Oh. Oh my goodness. My goodness. And then what happened? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. The puppy dog got ignored. You get ignored. Did Daddy ignore you? Oh. Oh, poor thing. Poor lady. You're knocking my stuff over, kiddo. All right. Well, go get him. Go see Daddy. Go on. She's so silly. And we're back. Welcome back. Welcome back, chat from the ads. For those who missed it, lady was having an argument because she was upset that her father had ignored her because he probably had to go to the bathroom. But we can continue. My favorite characters are the broken, traumatized one who hide it behind being goofy and silly. The characters who act all cold and distant but are actually really sweet and caring. I definitely go for the cold characters who are really sweet on the inside within limits. There are some guys who there's some people when they try to write that trope, they make them into a real butthead. And if they're too much of a butthead, then I'm not interested. Because being cold doesn't mean you get to be a big old jerky face, right? But anyway, but yeah, I usually go for the cold one. Sometimes I'll go for the flirtation one. Hanzo from Nightshade. I don't know if I've played that one. I have so many on my backlist. I really, really do. Is so bad. No, it's not any trouble at all. I don't want you to have any uncertainties or misgivings about our future partnership. Please, by all means, ask me anything you'd like. I know, right? It's like, oh, I have all these games. I want to give each one my love and attention, but I don't have enough time. I need to have enough time. And it's like, no matter what, there's never enough time. Never enough time. This is probably going to sound funny, but back when I read Twilight back in the day when Twilight was coming out and I read it, one of the things that I was like, I want to be a vampire so I didn't have to sleep. I like sleeping. I enjoy sleeping. But one of the reasons I wanted to be a vampire was so I didn't have to sleep. So that way I didn't lose the hours that I used sleeping and could like go read or have more time to do homework or have more time to like do stuff. I haven't had a good sleep all week. No! Right? Like, don't get me wrong. I love sleeping. But some days it's like, wow, needing sleep is so inconvenient. In that case, you've read through the business proposal I presented to Douglas, haven't you? I'd like to go over the finer points of our market projections and the surplus needed for reliable distribution. Forgive me, Miss Lucy. Rowan holds up a hand as he shakes his head slowly. I'd much rather we forego any of those details today. After all, as I said before, you have me at a disadvantage. We barely know one another. I'm sure you've got some reservations about partnering with a man you've only met 2 days ago, no matter how charming the meeting might have been. He's not wrong, but he's making his point in the most annoying way possible. Yes, that's more than reasonable. Marvelous! He hops back over the low wall and dusts himself off with a smile. I like the symbolism of him, like, being, like, they're kind of, like, opponents on two different sides of the wall, and then he hops back over the wall to sort of reunite with her. That's a nice touch. I don't know if I read that out loud. Hold on, just in case I didn't read it out loud. He hops back over the low wall and dusts himself off with a smile. Let's head down this path here. There's a wonderful view through the trees back this way. Rowan gestures to a small footpath that runs parallel to the forest. Rowan... As we walk on, I notice beams of sunlight filtering through the leaves and dancing like silk on the wind. I'm still not sure what to make of Rowan, but he was right. It's a lovely view. I've been wondering, Miss Lucy. Right? It's so pretty. And, like, I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. It's really good. They do a really good job with this game, especially when you get, like, the big stills. Like, there's also, like, earlier when, we started playing, there was a scene that was animated. And, like I said, I got, to play the demo last year, and I really enjoyed the demo. So when I was like, oh, it's out, I went and bought it. I had to wait a little bit to play it. But I'm glad it came out, and you can, like, definitely tell where, like, things they've upgraded, things they've done, and, like, the little animation details and scene flipping. Something I struggle with sometimes with, like, classic Otome is you're just staring at the same screen for a really long time reading dialogue. I think this game does a really good job of cutting up the dialogue and adding, like, animations and eye catchers and things to keep you focused on the game. I've been wondering, Miss Lucy, is your family from Laurenburg originally? No, they're originally from further north. Thank you for the head pat! But I came to live here with my older brother and his husband 5 years ago. Oh, you've got an older brother? Yes, not by blood, but Nemo's the only family I really have left now. It sounds like you're fond of him. I'd love to meet him sometime. With any luck, you won't. He laughs again, and I'm not thrilled that I find his amusement so endearing. You've got a refreshing wit, Lucy. And yet you seem to be running out of steam. So pointed. You might draw blood with words like those. Ah, wait a moment. A patch of crimson catches my eye through a grap. She's such a good character. She's very fun. She's very business-minded, to the point. Got a lot of sass. I like her a lot. Through a gap in the forest bush, I see a bed of lupines growing in a closed circle around the stump of a great dead oak. I've never seen lupine in such a vibrant shade of red. Do you see those flowers there? Flowers? I'm not sure I do. I'd like to take one if you don't mind. I'll just be a moment. Stop. Before I can take a single step off the path, Rowan grabs my arm and pulls me away from the forest edge. I'd be furious if he didn't look so apologetic. Some of my favorite Otomes MC are Anastasia from Even If Tempest, and Eureka from 𝖇𝖎𝖏𝑥 𝖐𝑎𝑙Ice. 𝖇𝖎𝑥 𝖐𝑎𝑙Ice is on. I have so many of the different, like, chapters, and it's on my lists. But I'll have to keep an eye out for her, because I'm sure we all know, an MC can really make or break your Otome game. So if you are saying those two have really good MCs, that means those are probably up my alley. Is it? I know that it's Alice in Wonderland themed, right? So I'm always like, are they gonna go, like, hardcore in it? Or are they gonna be like, oh, like, let me twist, you know what I mean? Like, oh, haha, the Mad Hatter is so flirtatious, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. Like, she's so unhinged in the best way possible. Perfect. Oh, yes. Hell yeah. I love a story that's like, oh, the theme is crazy? Let's do it. Before I can take even a single step off the path. Oh, I'd be furious if he didn't look so apologetic. My apologies, that was rash of me, but please take care not to wander into the forest, Miss Lucy. Huh, you're starting to sound like Nemo. I assure you, I'm not so delicate as those flowers, and I won't get lost in less than 10 paces. Rowan laughs, though he doesn't sound amused. Rowan believes in the Fae! I'm sure you'd be more than all right, Miss Lucy. I was only worried because I couldn't tell how far you were planning to go, given that there's a sheer cliff not too far in that direction. Is there? In that case, thank you for your concern. I was only planning to... Miss Lucy. That's odd. I can't seem to catch sight of those flowers anymore, nor the dead tree they surrounded, because it was the Fae! It's a game I would probably recommend most people look up the content warnings for episode 2. Noted. I will keep that in mind, but noted. It's nothing. Shall we head back towards the manor? Of course. I apologize again if I startled you. Not so much as a tumble down a sheer cliff might have. I never realized the forest outside the city held such hazards. In some parts, yes. The well-worn trails are pleasant, and the shade offers some protection from the summer sun, though it's not without its dangers. Some years ago, a pair of children went missing on such a trek that it took days to find them. Hansel and Gretel? Oh, wait a moment. I think I see Elm on his way over the hill. Elm! So this is our first time seeing the brothers together. We have only met them alone. So Elm we know from school. Elm's our buddy, right? We know him from school. Rowan is his twin, who we just found out about, who's taking over the family's business. We have not been in the same room. Well, I guess we're outside, but we have not been in the same space as both of them at the same time. So this, in fact, confirms. Where's the sandwich art with the twins? I mean, you can at Crystal Games. I'm sure it's somewhere. Maybe they have it somewhere. Maybe that's the secret ending, the twin sandwich. They don't like each other though, so. But we haven't seen them together. So this is the first time we've seen them in the same space. Oh. Following Rowan's gaze, I glance back at the house and see Elm hurrying down the front steps. Oops. Rowan rushes to intercept him, and even at this distance, I can tell that Elm flinches when Rowan throws an arm around his shoulders. Lucy, I believe you know my brother Elm. Elm, you know the lovely Miss Lucy, don't you? Elm shrugs off his brother's arm and his eyes dart away. Yes, we're acquainted. Wonderful. I do wish you'd told me sooner. We could have invited her over for dinner, and I hope she might still consider an invitation. Lucy. Elm looks at me with deep apprehension in his eyes. Then he turns toward the manor. I'll see you later, in class. Wait, Elm, you've hardly just arrived home. Stay and chat with us for a bit longer. I don't want to interrupt. You're in the middle of business, aren't you? Well, yes, but... Another time, then. Elm practically... Oh! I accidentally clicked. Hold on. Elm practically ducks away from Rowan and makes for the manor in a hurry. Rowan rushes along behind him for a moment, but he gives up the chase after a few paces. He trots back toward me, looking for all the world like a sullen horse caught in a storm. Forgive my brother, he's a bit distant and out of sorts lately. Yes, I've noticed that as well. I'm sure your father's death has been hard on him these past few days. Rowan's eyes raise as he looks at me. This isn't recent, unfortunately. We haven't spoken much for the past few. It feels like months now that I think of it. He sighs, and for the first time, I think I see Rowan truly and utterly at a loss. I'm sorry, I'm not really sure what's on his mind. Please, if you do hear anything from him, let me know. He's worried about his brother. How sweet. Yes, of course. I barely registered his words. Why has Rowan grown so distant from his brother? I had thought it was only a result of grief, but it seems the roots of his... I don't know this word, I'm going to be honest with you. Retinence go back much further than a recent tragedy of his father's death. Thank you again for having me here today. Naturally, it was a pleasure, Lucy. Shall we meet again soon? I'm eager to continue our negotiations. He flashes a reckless grin. He's got no shortage of confidence, at least, even if his idea of business negotiation is patently obvious. Yes, as long as we keep the focus on business. Yes, I think we should get to know... Ooh! Okay, this is probably what leads us down Rowan's path. I haven't decided who we're gonna smooch first, to be honest with you. Are we flirting or are we focusing on business? Do we want to go for Elm? So Elm we hung out with before, and when he's like, he doesn't like being around his brother, and he's definitely a little more timid. But if we spend time with him one-on-one, he's a lot more engaging. He also saved us from getting stabbed. So I think this round we're going to go with Elm. Because he did save us. He stopped us from getting stabbed. And while Rowan... I like Rowan a lot. He's very flirty. He's very fun. I always try to go from least interest... You're right. Unless there's a strongly recommended order. I wonder if there is an order for this game. The thing is, I feel... I know who is the one I'm least interested in, but here's the thing. I'd rather do that one solo, just because if I do them on stream, I don't think that'd be as fun for you guys. That's usually how I do it too. I usually do the recommended order, and do like the one that's, I don't want to say the least interesting, but like the one who interests me least first to get it, you know, to get the story. Because a lot of times too, there's like a backstory and stuff. I think I'm gonna go with Elm first, because I feel like that would be the most fun for you guys. But I don't know. Rowan would be pretty fun too. He's very flirty, isn't he? I think Cecil's the third one. I'm pretty sure Cecil's the first one. And there's nothing wrong with Cecil. I'm sure he has a really good story. I'm just not... He's not my type, if that makes sense. Oh, gosh. Who do I want to go with... I feel like Rowan's the one... He's the most mysterious. He also is purple, and purple is my favorite color. Poor guy crying in the corner right now. Honestly, he probably would cry in the corner if he heard Lucy say that. Because he's like the childhood, he's very much like the childhood friend. He technically lives with you. I probably got his name wrong. He lives with you. His color's green. And he's staying with you because he's avoiding his family business, which is also involved in gems. But he doesn't want to like be involved with the business. I don't know why. I don't know what's up with him. And he's also in class with me and Elm, so we'll see him at some point. I'm gonna go with Elm because I feel like Elm's the middle ground. So I'm gonna go with Elm this time, and then we could... But Rowan's so good! Look at him! And they share the same face! I need to flip a coin. That's what I need to do. I need to flip a coin. This is what happens when you design your characters too well. I don't have a coin. Oh, I kind of... Well, this is a button. If one side's heavy. What does my heart say? My heart says, smooch all of them. That's what my heart says. It's not a reliable source. Okay, hold on. I have one of those gummy erasers. I have one of those gummy erasers that it's like, it feels like it's made of clay. Harem root, it is! I gotta date them all first! Okay, hold on. Okay, I have I have like one of those gummy erasers that feel like clay, but it's an eraser. And I'm gonna write the letter and I'm gonna flip that. So R for Rowan and E for Elm. Okay. So I have my gummy clay eraser thing that I've put the letters on both sides, and I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna flip it. You see, I need to have a coin flip redeemed just for this. Rowan won. Rowan won. I flipped it, caught it, flipped it again, and then flipped it over and slammed it on my hand. Did not look. Rowan wins. This is actually really good. All right. Yes, I think we should get to know one another better. Yes, I think we should get to know one another better. Rowan's eyes gleam as he draws his swirl smile into a silly grin. I was just thinking the very same thing. Would you care to stop by for tea? That should be all right, and bear in mind that I do want to discuss business as well. Naturally, of course. How soon would you like to resume our conversation? Well, you can drop by tomorrow if you like. Just send word along and I'll be happy to receive you. Well, baby. Wolford might try to help again, but heaven knows that man's going to work himself into an early grave dealing with his grief. One funeral is enough for now, I think. Rowan chuckles, though I can tell he's feigning the detached air. He seems truly anxious that Williford might die. I wonder if he's closer to him than he was to Douglas. Probably. That's probably his true father figure. Please thank him again. He was a gracious host. I bit my tongue. He was a gracious host. I enjoyed his folktale. That? Yes, I'd be glad to. His voice breaks, but he's papering over it with laughter. I don't know about you, but I love bad endings as... What? Oh, hi.
I'm gonna take a shower. I'm really sweaty.
Okay. Have fun. That was Griff. That's my husband. That is my real life good ending. I don't know about you, but I love bad endings as much, if not more, than the good ones. Inksy, tragic, or spicy, even if Tempest and Lost in Secular love especially fed me well with bad endings. The real IRL Lee. Yeah! Yep. That's my IRL. Excuse me. But yeah, bad endings are so much fun. And I feel like that's part of the fun. I will say though, how do we feel about the you didn't pick anyone endings? Because those drive me up a wall. When you're like trying to get to know people and you're just starting, or like you'll choose options where you're trying not to be a jerk and you're just trying to be nice. And then the game's like, well, you didn't pick anyone and you weren't nice enough to anyone specifically, or you were too nice to everybody. So now you are killed by a mysterious cult. I'm looking at you, Hatoful boyfriend. I'm looking at you, Pigeon Game. His voice breaks, but he's papering over it with laughter. I swear I saw his fist clench for a moment there. Does he have a distaste for that old legend? It really does. The Pigeon Game goes heckin' wild. I want to say that was my first real Otome game. God, but I have it. I should play it again sometime. That game is so wild. You'll be happy to hear that. Well, until we meet again, Lucy. Yes, until we meet again. Take care, Rowan. My afternoon classes go well enough, though there's a conspicuous absence in the halls between lectures. On a typical Cecil, I remembered his name! Ha ha! The game didn't even have to tell me. I was like, I don't know, is the green one. I knew their colors, okay? I am a sight person. I have a by sight memory, not by name. On a typical day, Cecil will cross my path at least twice by mid-afternoon. Now, with the day almost done, Cecil is nowhere in sight, which is concerning because, okay, the last time we saw Cecil was after Douglas had died. And we know both Douglas and Fairfield were involved in the jewel business, and they are both dead. The police suspect they are connected. I suspect they are connected. Lucy has not figured that out yet or made that connection yet, but she does think it's suspicious and suspect the police suspect they are connected. Cecil's family are also jewelers, and he is going to school for business classes. We had an option to either go follow Elm and check in with him and make sure he was doing okay in the wake of his father's death, or to follow Cecil, who told us, I have something to do today, so I can't come with you to go check on Elm. So I'm going to go this way, and the game gave us an option to follow either Cecil or Elm, and I chose Elm. And now Cecil isn't here, and I'm really worried. Now with the day almost done, Cecil is nowhere in sight. I don't imagine he's crawling into his classroom through the windows, so where is he? Please don't be dead. Please don't be dead. Perhaps he's gone off into town again? If I killed Cecil, I'm going to be so mad. It's going to be Yuki. I think it was Yuki was his name from Hatoful Boyfriend, the spy bird. It's going to be re-traumatization. I don't want to reopen that. I can't keep my mind off that meeting with Rowan from this morning either. I'm still not sure if he's a suitable business partner. He did keep me from wandering into the forest and down a ravine, but that doesn't excuse his blatant flattery and evasiveness. That forest might keep its secrets, but Rowan owes me an explanation or two. I feel as though he's hiding something each time we talk, and frankly, I don't understand how he can be so calm under these circumstances. And then beyond all that, I certainly wasn't expecting Elm to be so curt this morning. If Hifumi doesn't give you severe trauma, then what's the point? You right, Zero, you right. I've fought with Nemo plenty of times. Hey girl, can you go to the couch? Couch time! Come on, go couch. Okay, she's not going to the couch. She's not a listener. And there goes the paintbrush I was just fiddling with. Whoops. I fought with Nemo plenty of times throughout my life, but that cold look in Elm's eye was something stark and unfamiliar. Nemo and I tend to fight in the open and without reservation, whereas Elm is much more reserved and introspective. Perhaps I just don't have a full grasp of Elm's moods. Even so, it doesn't sit well with me. Why is Elm so hesitant to talk to his brother? Or even about his brother? There must be something between them, but I doubt Rowan knows what it is. If he does, he's hiding it well. Hopefully I don't have to resort to finding another jeweler to ball with. Yeah, guys. Jeweler knows ball. Finding another jeweler to partner with. I may need to send out a few more queries just in case. Finding a consistent supply of high-quality gems is hard enough, but I'll also need a partner with enough skill to cut and prepare gems for consumption. Douglas was one of my best options given his connections to gem mines and his skill in appraisal and gemsmithing. If I could secure a supply of gems on my own, that might give me more options. I've heard more and more about synthetic gems lately, but perhaps that might be a viable alternative? If they truly are chemically identical to the real thing, that is. Though that reminds me, I should look into the jewelry markets as well, in case the vendor from yesterday was part of some larger scheme. A friend of mine from the university, Mina, is also studying to be a chemist. She may know more about these synthetic gems and the process of their creation. I should ask her about this when I get a chance. Where am I? The center of the city brims with frantic energy, so much so that the din of the crowd blends together into a pleasant ebb and flow. The noise of a city street is not unlike the sound of the ocean waves, though you're far more likely to catch a musician performing here than by the seaside. In fact, there's someone performing nearby, and it's that violin... Sorry, my throat keeps getting caught because it's dry. I'm gonna drink some water. We gotta hydrate. There we go. In fact, there's someone performing nearby, and that's a violin, isn't it? Ah, the fiddler from the other day. There aren't quite so many people gathered around them today. Maybe I could get a closer seat. Hydrate or dehydrate, for real. I walked far enough today already, and there's a seat open on the fountain edge, just behind a gaggle of children relaxing with their parents after a day's work. In fact, resting here for the afternoon would be a wise choice. The moment I find a seat, my body lightens, and I nearly lose my balance. Perhaps I've been running at full steam for too long. This music is enchanting. Close my eyes and listen to the melody. Feel the cold breeze waft up from the fountain, and nearly forget the city around me. The stone beneath me is rough and flat. The water sputters and splashes against my dress from time to time, and there are dozens of small children clapping and giggling around my feet. I could sit here for ages. Oh, the fiddler's case is latched shut. Usually buskers in the street will keep them open for donations and patronage. It seems they don't want anything in exchange for these performances. If I knew their name, I might send them a token of my appreciation. I haven't thought about my untimely deaths or family tragedies in nearly a quarter hour. I haven't thought about my horrible trauma in so long. Thank you, weird person. Okay, we're gonna save. It's rough and a bit unsteady at times, but their music truly is magnificent. A round of applause erupts as the fiddler takes a bow. I can't see them clearly from where I'm sitting, but I hear them unlatch their case. Are they leaving already? Is it Cecil? Wait, is the fiddler Cecil? The hair looks kind of similar, and they're both green. That's gotta be Cecil. Is that why he snuck off? Because he... You know what I bet? I bet I know his story. I bet Cecil doesn't want to run his family business, so he puts on a mask and performs in the square instead because he wants to be a musician, but is afraid to tell his family. I guarantee you that's what's going on. Up ahead of me, I can see a child holding a small bouquet of clover up to the fiddler. My mommy says that you play real good music. I like it too. Fiddler nods, so it's impossible to tell what expression they might be wearing behind that mask. I got you this. It's good luck and also is pretty. Gently, the fiddler pats the child on the head, accepts the cluster of clover, weeds, and grass, and presses it delicately into the pocket of their case. Soon, another pair of children join them, and by the time I get close enough to see the fiddler, a whole gaggle of small clamoring youngsters have fenced them in. Some offer their compliments, others ask about the fiddler's instrument, and one dramatic little waif kneels down and asks to become their apprentice. The fiddler declines, though now that I think on it, they haven't said a word this whole while. One by one, the children's parents call them back and they rush off, some reluctantly, and carry on chittering about the music and how much fun it was to dance with all their friends. Come along now, we've got to finish shopping for supper. Mommy, the musician's so nice. You think they'll be back tomorrow? Could we come by to see? Maybe so, if we have time. That was beautiful music, wasn't it? Yeah, I want to play music like that someday. Do you think I can? And watch the child and their mother stroll away, smiling to myself at the scene. It may be tinged with bittersweetness for me, but it's still soothing to watch children and their parents get along so easily. Now that the children have flitted away, I turn my attention back to the fiddler, only to find an empty street corner where they stood moments earlier. I scan the crowd and glance towards the nearest alley, to no avail. I'll have to make a point of asking for their name the next time I see them. It's Cecil. At the very least, I can thank them for the brief respite. For now, though, I'm starving. I think Ambrose is cooking rabbit stew tonight. If it's Cecil, I'm gonna lose my mind. On most every evening, the eastern wing of Purdue University is quiet and still as the night sky. The walkways I follow home are usually empty, and at most I might see a fellow student rushing to the library. Once I pass the administrative offices, the only people I expect to see are Nemo, Ambrose, and Cecil. So then whose shadow is that in front of our doorway? Ah, Miss Lucy, I presume. A wiry man steps out of the shadows, and the lamplight falls across his gaunt features. He carries himself like a withered possum! He's a possum! And his mannerisms are sharp and ungainly. A faded corduroy vest wraps tight around his chest, in many ways seeming to hold him together with its dull brass clasps. His shirt is wreathed and weathered and worn thin, though I can see a lovely pair of cufflinks glimmering at his wrists. I've encountered people like this before, those with a keen sense of styling, despite their limited wardrobe. It's hard to say whether that limitation derives from their means or their preferences, though. I don't believe we've met. Oh, my gravest apologies. I've heard so much about you from Cecil that I forget we've not found occasion to acquaint ourselves. Silas! I had a D&D character named Silas, although I didn't like Silas. I called him Silas, but it's pronounced Silas. My name is Silas. I'm a chemist who prepares formulations for Cecil's parents. For their mining operations, of course. Mr. Silas smiles easily and takes a short bow. He's not one to spare a word, I see. I wonder what sort of formulation he prepares. Something noxious and stomach-turning from the faint smell of sulfur wafting off him. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Silas. Were you here to visit Cecil, then? Something of that sort. A few days ago, I found a letter in the street on one of my evening constitutionals. A letter addressed to dear Cecil, if you can believe it. I happened to be in this part of the city, and I thought I'd take the chance to return it to him. I don't trust you. Not one bit. Not even a little bit. Nope. A letter for Cecil? He mentioned losing a letter a few days ago, didn't he? Of course. Thank you for making the effort. Think nothing of it, Miss Cecil. Cecil is a brilliant young man, and he's very kind to humor a shut-in like myself. I can't see what interest he takes in such drivel as Tritarians and solvents. Oh, I can't... Titrarians? I don't know that word, I'm sorry, and solvents. Silas laughs heartily, though the best I can manage is a polite grin. I'm sure that was a hilarious remark somehow, but the chemistry of it is beyond me. If I may ask, wherever did you find the letter? Why are we barking, huh? What? He's a bork. We have a borky baby. It's a miracle you were able to spot it. Saribot, an ad is not starting. I snoozed it. I hit the snooze button. Perhaps that's not quite right. I found it near the front stoop of my laboratory shortly after Cecil left from a visit. Oh, do you have a lab here at the university? Looking somewhat reluctant, Silas corrects me. No. I don't have the chance to do anything so interesting as to merit a place among these halls. I work with quite a number of volatile substances, so I keep my workplace along the old Paupers Row, near the warehouse quarter of the city. Cecil is one of the kindest people I know, but he's also incredibly earnest. If he's taken an interest in your work, then it must be far more fascinating than drivel. Oh, you're too kind, Miss Lucy. Chemistry is grand and magnificent when you consider the breadth of history and the great leaps of science we've made over the centuries, but the day-to-day doldrums of mixing chemicals and boiling solutions is far more familiar territory for most of us. I don't doubt that preparing the same mixtures each week can be repetitive, but the few chemical reactions I've witnessed have almost been bewitching. Silas chuckles, and his voice drips down the halls like crystallized honey. Naturally, we're fond of showing off our most visually stunning reactions, particularly those that take place quickly enough to hold a specter's attention. No, sadly, my solutions are all about hours of careful stirring, tempering, boiling, and precise titration. By the time I finish preparing another barrel of solvents, the only indication of chemicals change is a particularly strong acid aroma and a faint change in hue. I'm afraid it's as unappealing to the eye as it is to the nose, and far worse if any of the stuff happens to splash on your clothing. You make it sound as though you'd rather be otherwise occupied, Mr. Silas. The air hangs still for a moment, and for the first time tonight, Silas does as well. There is another aspect of my work that I find more stimulating, if you will, though it's not particularly lucrative at the moment. Wait a moment. I may have one here. With a swift twitch, his finger burrows down into his vest pocket, scores its corners, and returns a moment later, pinching a small cylinder as thin as a toothpick. It looks to be some sort of stone with a faint reddish powder on one end. It's not my best work and far from pure, but this is, in at least a small part, a ruby of my own creation. Oh, is this one of those reconstructed rubies I've heard about? Yes, or a rather poor attempt at one. I've made several attempts so far, but, well, my equipment can't quite keep the temperature steady enough. Baby, can you go to the couch? Good girl. Fitting enough, and my employer has no interest in the endeavor, so it's little more than a diversion. Small humors to disrupt the repetition, nothing more. That's unfortunate, but promising. If I may ask, how did you hear about these synthetic gems, Miss Lucy? Forgive me, I suppose a woman of your acumen would naturally keep up with such advancements in your field of business. Oh, I didn't expect him to know about my work with the vampirism cure. Or perhaps he means gems and jewelry? Cecil must have told him. Otherwise, I'm not sure how he would have come across that information. No, it's quite alright. I did learn of them first in my research, but most recently I heard a street vendor claiming his wares all featured reconstructed rubies. I had no way to verify his claim, of course, but his prices were significantly lower than that of traditional jewelers. Well, I'm certain that's possible, albeit unlikely for a common street huckster. Laughter creaks out of Silas's throat again. It's almost painful to hear, given the weary and haggard sound of his voice. It's like listening to a carpenter peel timber apart in thin, jagged strips. Ooh, that's not good. Tell me, Mr. Silas, would these reconstructed rubies have the same properties as a natural gem? Say, an emerald of high purity. The shadows shift and Silas takes a step towards me, shifting the light to reveal his eyes and hide his lips in the dark. I swear, he must be as light as a ghost. He moves so quietly and with such a steady gait, you'd think he was floating. That I fear is beyond my expertise. Chemically, they should be identical, but I've never had a proper sample to test. Someday, perhaps. I won't keep you any longer, though, Miss Lucy. Good evening, and please give Cecil my regards. Oh, that was gone. He fast. Fast as lightning, like Sonic. Without waiting for my reply, he tips his head and slides past me into the night. By the time I return to reply, he's already out of sight. Yes, take care, Mr. Silas. What an odd man. Odd and far sadder than I initially thought. I'm still curious about those synthesized gems, but also seems to be a bittersweet subject for Mr. Silas. Returning home to the smell of Ambrosia's cooking and the sound of warm chatter is always a balm. Eat a puppy! Leroy greets me as soon as I enter, panting happily as he circles around me once and then trots off to the living room. Eat a pup! The moment I close the door, Nemo looks up from his edition of the Evening Post and tilts his head at me. Surprised to see you and Cecil didn't walk home together. Were you off somewhere again? I can't believe you're so quick to assume it's because of me. You're right, though. I only went into town because I didn't see Cecil after class. Is he back already? Nemo nods towards the kitchen. Just a moment ago. It is! It's gotta be him! It's gotta be him! Lucy, welcome back! I'm sorry we missed each other. My professor was ill today and everyone in our class studied privately in the library. Oh, I see. Well, I didn't cross by the library wing on my way into town, so it's no surprise Cecil would have missed me on his way home. Dinner will be ready in a moment. If you would all please set out the table. That's our brother's husband. Nemo raises an eyebrow at me. You heard the man. And so did you. I pull the Evening Post from his hands and swipe the stack of papers he's sorting from the table in front of him. Dinner tonight is not rabbit stew, but in fact a pheasant roast with lemon butter and fresh root vegetables. Ooh! It's delicious, and it strikes me that Ambrose's cooking reminds me in some way of the Fiddler's songs. There's something refined and joyous about it. Well practiced, and yet unstrained and almost carefree. Or perhaps I was hungrier than I imagined. Tick. Ooh. At the end of the day, when I've already put every other thought away for the evening, I stare at my bottle of emerald pills. I could just leave this pill in its bottle. I could also take it, but I can feel myself hesitating. Is it truly awful to be a vampire? Would it be a terrible thing to live longer? I could always start taking them again later. Is that what I really want? So this is our second time choosing whether or not we will take a pill. The first time we took it, but we haven't. Do we take it? Ooh. I feel like I'm gonna flip. I gotta flip. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna flip for it again. Where'd the paintbrush that I dropped go? I'll just have to grab another one. Okay, so we're gonna flip. Oh! So T for take. And D for don't take. So, whoop! One flip. Two flip. Well, actually that time it didn't flip, it just kind of spun in the air. Two flip. Take it! It's a T for take it! Take the pill. The pill is cold on my tongue, though only for a moment. To flip or not to flip, right? The pill is cold on my tongue, though only for a moment. I've been swallowing gems regularly for years, so the oddity of it has long since passed. So if we take the pill, we're no longer a vampire, and, I'm not quite sure. It makes it, like, easier to get the day, but if we don't have to drink blood. But if we don't take it, we have to drink, we get super strength and stuff back, but it also means that we have to drink blood. There. That's done. Now to sleep, and hopefully make more progress tomorrow. Da da da! So. I think this is a really good, I don't know. I think you can, like, drink animal blood and be fine, but we haven't not taken it yet, so I don't know how much. However, unfortunately, I think this is where we're gonna have to end for today. Because I gotta go have dinner. I gotta go eat, you know? I gotta go have a meal. However, if you want to keep following, because we're gonna play more of this game. We're gonna absolutely play more of this game, for sure, for sure, for sure. I post my schedule on Discord. This is the last stream for this week, but we will be playing again next week. I believe my next stream is probably gonna be probably Tuesday next week. Oh wait, no, I can't stream Tuesday. I forgot I can't stream. Oh god, an ad starting. Oh no, stupid ad. So I gotta be quick. Yeah, thank you for coming, Zero. I appreciate it. You can always join my Discord. I'm there. I talk about games in there, and I post memes and stuff like that. So you should come hang out and check it out. It's the best way to know when I'm going live on my schedule. Oh my god! Hi, JD Oceans! You came at the end of stream. How are you? Wait, are you going live? By chance? I need someone to raid. I have 2 minutes before the next ad break, and I'm out of. Hi, Sleepy! Hello! This might be random, but you sound like the voice actor for Power. I am! Holy fucking shit. Are you rated? Hold on. Wait. Oh, thank you for the follow. You're going live in 40 minutes? Dang it. Darn. Okay. Well, hold on. Let me shout you out real quick. For those who don't know, I do voice acting for, oh, man, I'm gonna run out of time. I only have 2 minutes. Okay. No, that's not the right person. Cancel. Dismiss. No, that's not it. That's not the right person. Dang it. I'm out of time. What? I forgot the yes. Yes, I voice act for, hold on. If you follow JD right here, that JD Oceans in chat, I'm so sorry. I messed it up. I forgot the yes. I'm a bad voice actress. I voice act on JD Ocean's channel for Anime Love Island. It is a VR series. Or I'm sorry, Anime Love Paradise is what it's called now. Which they are in, what, season 3 now? We're in season 3. So you should totally check out those videos. I'm so sorry, I messed up the username. Dang it! Yeah, I did! I said the right one! They release new episodes and new videos every Sunday. Let's see, hold on. Oh, I gotta rate. Oh my god, I only have 57 seconds. Shoot. Do you guys like Phasmophobia? I think you guys like Phasmophobia. We're gonna raid my friend Snow Mercy. They are playing Phasmophobia with friends right now, and they have a very pretty 3D model. Hold on. But I will see you guys next week. Raid JD. I can't raid JD. He's not live. Can I raid JD? I could, but you're not live. Could I? No, we'll raid Snow Mercy. Yeah, he's not live, so I can't raid him. So we're gonna raid Snow Mercy, but I will see you guys next time. I only have 10 seconds. Bye!